Why or why not? The heavens, restoration, revitalizing, illuminating, with rehabilitation, with a sublime and lofty empyrean prevailing, through the recognition, auspiciously reverent, to the deed of faithful fidelity, with the occupations made representative in a complete synthesis within harmony's victory, by the rise and fall of a profound elaboration, with a rebuttal of synchronizing the outcome fully succumbed. As I monetize and found flowing in the river of fluent composure upon the wings of fabricated clandestine, blooming from the solitary, intricate interlude with an unknown president of reform, beyond the residence of the mundane, and with an unconditional effectiveness, often too heavy with the weight of glory, within a tangible equipping, pivotal with divine refinement, by an intel to the inquiry of soul operation, mindful of the significance, perfectly propelling forward with a clarity of insight. Yes, the lighthouse I am beams out for equitable sight, deliberately persistent with a depth of eternal integration, validated on the sum of internal standard, encompassing toward the north above, with an affliction that has only brought me to prosper, by an assignment that brings peace and protection at play, with an imprint soluble in the urgency of peaceful acquiescence. Soulfully, fearlessly, I jump off of the precipice upon a breakthrough of resolution, joyously with belief towards the unseen, breaking the cycle of self-limitation for the help I carry within overall. Our God resonates in the deepest chambers of my refuge, being singularly and perpetually immersed inside a crucible of the most resilient admonishment, with compressions under an extreme, meticulous release at play, relieving the concept of a distillable rush, sanctifying, and of the subsequently heartfelt faith with my destiny made within, with an in tandem transformed through a transaction surpassing all understanding, surged with infiltrated energy inherited. Monumented in the kingdom of lawful principles, riding upon the starship of untainted obscurity, yes, a battleground between spirit and humankind, through a spiritual stasis replicating actions to access on the heave of heaven's abode, and a constellating of intimacy choreographed, assured with synchronicities enrolling inside the competition consciously relentless. I hold up a magnificence with open invitation to be mindful upon meta-thought in the landscape of existence's simulations correlating through a subtle freeing, through the expansions of the unseen, requiring the full, radiant version of who I will become. Prolonged familiarity makes me realize, longingly forthgoing in the notion of time's convergence totally unadulterated, with an abundance that imbued the soul to grow undeniably present without dimming my untapped potential, and I embodying fully the phenomena of alterations through destiny, with the greatness overcoming the unwavering assets, and as an impeccable one who makes a way where there seems to be no way, follows through. Mentored with orchestration by an irrevocable constructed eminence, cosmically significant, working through the ingrained permeation of my being's spirit with a fundament of sacred energy, totally occurring with light upon a path, the obstacles sight unseen, and within a life force coursing through actively, with unwavering conviction, holds my determination. Praying I to the magnificent truth thereof, vastly blessed with a precision, ultimately paved towards a cacophony where conveying optimally on the path of consultation, strategizing through all else depending on God's promises as a testimony that declaration prospers, residing with the gifts of extraordinarily holiness of the One, fulfilling me completely, diminishing my worries, and giving me a wholeness of who I am upon the firm foundation of spirituality. Alan. If your readers made it through that poem, without needing to digress, without struggling to decode the encryptions made in this poem, seeing that the solutions thereof are made with a choreograph of the unthinkable, leaving them confounded, congrats! You just graduated a theology class of Creed's enrollment. If they are marveling at this content that's structured with pillars of intangible framework, without explicitly wondering how the phenomenon makes palatable by the manifestations layout, without needing a therapist and a deflated ego, they must already be in the elite scrimmage of the constituted monastery of deity and doctrine, where lectures come from a hypersensitive conception. Yet they're still trying to pause between each sentence to contemplate refuge, singularity, crucible, and compression. They got lost at spiritual status, replicating access to the heavens' heave. They thought the mundane was how structures were built. They are still trying to resolve the obstacle of what the eye cannot see, leaving them a hurdle over sublime passageways they never knew existed. They thought the wind was supernatural. Now they're finding an export of things that even their imagination struggle to comprehend. They thought light only came from the sun and stars, never concepting that by chance, abstract existences carry weight. They thought they could encumber grace by asking for cars and houses, but you only proved a vast, indiscreet possibility that we are not alone in this universe. Now they're looking around the corners of their bedroom doors and under their bed, scared that something beyond the world has an agenda.